Rello Mellow Garden. Welcome back, gang. We in here. In our little cabinet set up, the power had temporarily went out to the outlets that I was using to power the lights in there. So I had to temporarily relocate. I might move them back. I might keep them here. I think the temperatures in this little space are better suited for these cloning purposes anyway. You can kind of see them all in there. Some of them sort of wilted off, but most of them are still looking all right in here. So hopefully in a couple weeks at the latest we'll have some roots showing and we can up pot these into some larger containers and let them grow out a little more, and then we'll be able to pick and choose which clones we want to run again. Hopefully we at least get one of each plant that makes it through to where we can transplant it and then pick and choose what we want to do from there. Definitely hoping our little NFC bag seed cross. I'm definitely hoping we get a couple of those, or again at least one, to root, because she is looking good. She did a real good stretch. About to go and take a look at those now. Made it on over. I guess I'm gonna stop and talk about this stuff now. Since we are about to switch to this synthetic fertilizer, and it's fairly concentrated with these higher numbers y'all see up here compared to what you'll see here, and it's an instant feed because it's a liquid synthetic fertilizer. So what we doing is we gonna up until, or really when we start using this, we're gonna be flushing as well, but I'm going to have to start flushing the medium each watering now. Generally when you're using organic nutrients like this Espoma plant tone, flushing isn't really something you need to do. You can just kind of let it all break down and let the plants use it up, all the nutrients. Flushing it kind of just depletes your nutrients, whereas these synthetic nutrients over here, they're salt based, so it's a good idea to not flush, but water until runoff each time. I think I've been saying flush this whole time. I guess we're kind of semi-flushing some of the leftover nutrients from this out of the medium, but the main thing is where we're going to water till runoff, and that's how we'll kind of flush some of that out. We could do one big watering where we run gallons of water through them, but I think I'm gonna just do my normal watering schedule and water until runoff each time. It's already been a good minute since we amended this stuff into the soil and whatnot, so I imagine it's at least halfway used up. But yeah, with synthetics, they're salt based, so you'll get a salt buildup in your soil if you don't water to runoff. We're going to water to run off with this in there now, since we're going to get ready to switch to the synthetic, and we don't want to over fertilize and burn the plants, especially not in flower. It'd be a little more forgivable to do that during veg. Also, y'all about to see how good the girls is looking in there, but another thing I'll say for this run, since we just recycled the soil that we used last run, I believe I only spent about $30 for this grow, and so far, all right, we had a pretty good veg. Nothing really went wrong with it. These first couple weeks of flower, which by the way, today is day 13 of flower, they have been going good. So I'm fairly confident headed into the deeper flower stages that I should get some good results just using this. But we only have to spend $30. You see here with this, it's got a higher nitrogen ratio compared to the phosphorus and potassium, whereas this, our main one, is the phosphorus, which is a key ingredient to most flowering plants, I think. But for cannabis, it certainly is going to help build up those buds, help them stack, be more dense, probably helps better trichome production, all that. So that's the reason we'll be switching to this, which I think this I paid maybe $5 or $6 for. This here was maybe 15. And then the only other thing we bought for this grow, I've used it up already, was some mycorrhizae, mainly just for transplants and whatnot. Then we of course have utilized all this to some degree, but we already had all this. It's carryovers from other grows. So again, $30, or I guess if you want it to clone, it's a viable option to get some sort of rooting hormone, which I would have got a powder or a gel, but they didn't have it in the store when I went, so we ended up getting this. This is an extra $10 on there, so it'd be $40 technically, but if you're not taking clones, you wouldn't need this, so $30. And of course, when you first getting into growing, you're gonna have to spend a little more than $30. There's a lot of creative ways if you've got stuff at your home. People do DIY stuff, but for this basic little tent setup I got here, a 2x4x5, it's got 300 watt lights, so a total of 300. A little exhaust fan, it's only a 4-inch fan. It doesn't have any speed controls or anything on it. Then this little carbon filter, plus the fans that we have blowing in the tent. I think I'm gonna turn these off. We've got another one back up here at top. And the humidifier. I guess last thing is a little temperature humidity gauge. Let's see if I can remember how much all this cost me. I believe this little Aglex light here, it's like a cheap little off-brand Chinese produced light. I think this was like $70. Then these two Vipar Spectra V100s you see on either side, I think those were like $80. I might have got them on a little sale. I think they're $90 to $100 usually. So what is that, 160, 230. So we probably spent $230 on lighting. You could probably get away maybe with using 2 lights in here, 200 watts worth of light. But I would recommend 300 watts at least in a 2x4. And there might be like lights you could find that might be cheaper for 300 watts. You might get one single light for 300 watts that might be cheaper than $230. Again, I guess 80, 160, like 70 for this one. So yeah, 230. But again, you might be able to find a light cheaper that still puts out around 300 or at least 250 watts. But the lighting is always going to be the most expensive part of the grow by far. So you can expect to spend a little bit of money on that. And if you wanted to start cheaper, you could get a 2x2, and you could honestly just run one of these Vipar Spectra V100s in there. Still be more advisable to run 2 of them for me, at least 200 watts. and the 2x2, 2x4, 300. But you could get away with one for sure. I think this little exhaust fan, I got it with this. It was a little combo. It was probably 50 bucks. So let's put us at 280 right now. This was probably 10, 15 bucks. I'll go with 12. Put us at 292. Fans all together. These two fans that you see here are not oscillating, so they're a little cheaper. So those were probably 10 bucks a piece. They put us at what, 312. Then you got that one that does oscillate. That was like 20 bucks. So we're now at 332. And then we include the tent itself. I probably paid like $50 for the tent. So 382. Oh, then we got our humidifier as well. I'm thinking that was like another 10, 15. I forget if I said 382 or 392, but I think it might have been 382. So that takes us up to 392. So just under 400 for this little setup here. Again, you might be able to do it a little cheaper, but this is a fairly low price setup as far as growing goes for this size tent. The bigger tent you get, the more powerful light you need, so the more expensive it's going to be. Plus the bigger tents are just generally more expensive than the smaller ones. Takes more material, all that. But yeah, I'd say you could probably do this from anywhere from $300 to $400 all together. And that'll at least give you the equipment to get a first grow done if you're trying to use a grow tent like this. And then of course, really, depending on what type of weed you already come across, you could end up with bag seeds from buying it off your dealer or from a dispensary. So that could almost be technically like some freebie seeds. That's what my first two grows were. Just bag seeds that I got out of bud that I bought. Or, of course, you can buy seeds offline. There might be in-store places to get seeds from as well. And that all varies in price, but you'll probably spend at minimum like 20 bucks for seeds. Which, some of the more better strains like these here, when I initially bought the seeds for them, of course these two are clones, but last run they would have came from seed. This is a bag seed plant because the last NFC I had from the breeder I didn't get to pop. And of course back here is another seed from the breeder. The ice cold back here, it's the last one. But yeah, these were like, and I think I got the seeds on sale too. It's another thing, be on lookout for different sales and stuff. But the seeds that I bought were a little more expensive. I think they would have been like $60 for a 3-pack at normal price. But again, I'm pretty sure I got them on sale. I don't know how much I would have paid in total. It would have been $120. I'm imagining I maybe paid $80 for the seeds. Plus you get freebies depending on who you order from and all that. Most people will give you freebie seeds. But again, that just depends on what type of seeds you want to buy. I don't think price is the most super important thing with these. Like, you don't have to buy like $100 packs of seeds to get super good quality, but generally the rule of thumb I would still stick with, kind of know you're getting what you pay for. But there's some people that say they get good quality out of like the $10, $20 pack seeds. I haven't bought any that cheap yet. Again, these were the first seeds that I bought, and I haven't had a need to really go out and get any more. Gonna buy some more eventually just to grow different stuff. but I loved these strains when I grew them. Might be a little biased, but it was some of the best bud I ain't smoked in quite some time that we got from these last runs. So wanted to grow them again. Get in here and take a closer look at these now, or what on. So seeds, price will vary, but 20, 60 bucks, somewhere around there. Soil, again, that is a very high varying price. Again, this is reused soil, but when we initially bought it, it was, I got Fox Farm Happy Frog, and then a brand that I like is Sungrow Organic Black Gold Soil. The brand name is Sungrow. The model or whatever is Black Gold Organic Potting Mix. So most of these are probably a mixture of that, and again, we reused it from last grow. But you probably like 40 to 50 bucks worth of soil. Again, you could probably maybe find cheaper soils. I wouldn't go too super cheap, because a lot of them would be kind of poor mixes that won't be very aerated. It would be hard for the roots to breathe and all that. But you could probably spunk that up, perlite and all that. I get bagged of perlite for like 10 bucks. Yeah, soil and nutrients that you use varies, but if you're gonna mimic what I did or something, that's what it is. Fox Farm Happy Frog and Sungrow Black Gold. So for this exact type of setup, for an initial run, I guess you'd probably be spending around $500-ish for everything in total, from all the equipment to all the growing material. Plus you'd have to include the nutrients as well. But after this initial investment, all right, this tent pretty much will last forever. These lights will last you a good amount of time. This is the second run that we're on with these, and the fourth run that I'm doing with this Aglex light. And they're still, as y'all can see, producing real good growth results. So after that initial investment, you pretty much got an unlimited source of growing. You'll make that investment back probably by your third grow, if not the first or second one. Just depends on how well the grow goes. And then after that first grow, you can take the soil, reuse it, and boom, literally just a little bit of this and the worm castings. I added some alfalfa meal in there for the extra potassium, but it probably wasn't even, you could have got good results with just some of this all-purpose type of organic mix plus worm castings. Always good to add those, but this alfalfa meal does have benefits, but it's doable without it. But since we got it, we're gonna use it. The CalMag, you may or may not run into issue needing that. I hear LEDs make it more likely that you'll need to add CalMag. This was probably somewhere between 10, 20 bucks. The molasses, I used to think you had to get this blackstrap molasses, but you don't. The only thing you'll need is the unsulfured. There's like micronutrients and stuff on here that are a little higher in the blackstrap molasses versus regular molasses, but it doesn't really make a big enough difference. It's all way small compared to what the plant would need. The main purpose of molasses is if you're doing organic grow, most of it is going to come with, as you see here, bacteria that helps break down the organic nutrients. So adding molasses to that will help feed those microbes and help break stuff down better for your plants. But now we're going to come in here and take a little closer look Video getting a little long. Make it brief, I guess. This is our NF Sheesh bag seat, probably again crossed with ice cold, I'm guessing. And yeah, I really like her growth structure. She's got a nice stretch to it. As y'all know, she was the shortest plant because she's the youngest plant in here. She popped a week after everything else, and she is now, part of it is probably because I don't have as much space to train her through the net as these two over here because they're not doubled up, you know. But yeah, she can stretch on up. She's taller than the NF Sheesh here and then the ice cold clone over here. Then this ice cold from seed back here looks like it's around the same height. They're both about 2 feet tall. And I'm really debating if I want to wait until day 21 to give these a defoliation, if they need to use it. Again, today is day 13. So, I don't know, I'm up in the air about it. I might just wait until day 21. Because as they continue this rapid veg growth, that's what you get the first couple, maybe 3 weeks of flower. So rapid veg growth, that's what the stretch is. So it's going to pop out more leaves. But once it really switches into focusing on these buds, which you can see coming in now, it'll slow that down. And by the way, our lights are still at 75% for the two Vipar Spectra V100. And then this Agalex, I believe it's the Agalex K1000 is at 100. Yeah, I might turn these up to 100% tomorrow, or again, I might wait until day 21, but I am going to run the full 300 watts in here this time. Last time we didn't do that. I think we could have got the spread on this ice cold a little better. Last run I had it clear to the back, but it's not too bad at all. Still plenty of bud sites on here, and I'm expecting to get denser, better buds this time around. So hopefully we break the yield that we got from that last run. You can see our NF Sheesh spread throughout. I think it might be a little better spread than the last run we did with her. It's just, again, you just come in and tuck through the trellis. But I'm gonna let them grow up a little bit. I wonder how this is doing that we snapped, I think maybe a few days ago. Let's see if it's recovered. Somewhat. It don't look too pretty in there. I think for now I'm gonna keep that tape on there. We had another snap on this ice cold. This one is happened a little bit before the NF Sheesh, so it might be better recovered. Tape is a little stuck. And it still feels a little flimsy. I'm gonna just leave her alone before I jack her up, trying to rip that tape off. I'll come back to that later. Come in and look at this ice cold from seed back here. She's looking fairly decent, occupying her small little corner of the tent. Wish these tapes would stay up. I'm guessing she back here It's probably going to be our smallest yielder or lowest yielder, but should still be a good, decent yield we get out of here in total. You can see all of them got the pistils coming in, still looking dark and healthy, which is another reason why I've started watering them until runoff, because they don't show much signs of fading, which means the nutrients are still packed in there. And again, we're trying to switch it up to that higher phosphorus content to build up the buds. But yeah, it's our little update for what we got going. Again, day 13, everything looking good. Stretched out pretty well. We've almost got a wall-to-wall buds effect going on, especially from side to side. We didn't get the back of the tent as good as I would like for our two clones over here, but of course the ones we doubled up over there did. I'd say all in all fairly good. I think we might have controlled the stretch a little better, unless these things keep stretching a decent amount. They're not as close to the light as, at least for these two, because they're the clones, as they were the last time, but both got fairly bushy. And we did a much shorter veg. But yeah, we'll be back maybe a few days, see how they're doing. Yeah. Rello Mellow Garden, we out. Like, comment, share, subscribe.